So you're saying that the alternative is clans like in the Emirates. In other words, the land is divided up and they're given autonomy. Autonomy up to the point of independence for each city in Judea and Samaria, in Arab Hebron, in Jericho, Ramallah, Nablus, Jenin, Tulkarm, and Kalkilia. Each becomes a separate political independent entity. Israel remains in the entire rural area. How? By annexing. It annexes only the rural area, not the cities. It offers the people living in the rural areas Israeli citizenship as part of a process, but that includes the right to vote. It isn't a demographic threat. We're talking about maybe 15% of the population, no more, when about 85% of the population are living in the autonomous cities that will be separate entities. How can I be sure that I can trust them? First of all, you will be around the entire area of each city, and you have to check what goes in and goes out. In the early years, for example, all the pipes that they will be importing will be made of plastic, bent plastic. Why? Because you can't make missiles out of bent plastic piping. That's an example of what you can do to make sure that they're not doing improper things. But the moment that they are dependent on you for import and export and all those things, because they're surrounded, so the chances that they will fight terror is much greater. And here you have to understand the Arab mindset. When you have a clan that is in charge, they're in favor of development, stability, governance. The social hierarchy is maintained, and they fight terrorists. That was the case in Anbar in Iraq and in other places in the Middle East, and that's how it works in the Gulf countries. In Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Kuwait, they're all based on clans. But the reality there is different. No, it's exactly the same reality. It's the Arab world. It's the same thing. Except that there, they don't all have oil. Dubai doesn't have oil, and it's a paradise on earth. On the other hand, Iraq, which is made up of a lot of different groups, like a modern state, as it were, is a failed state, even though it has oil. And the same is true for Libya and Sudan. They're all failed states, and Yemen, even though they have oil. And Dubai, even though it doesn't have oil, is a paradise on earth. Why? Because it has one clan. So there aren't conflicts between clans? No. And in Hebron also, for example, there are 5 large clans there, Jabri, Kawasma, Nacha, Tamimi, and Abu Snena, but they have a tribal court. It's called Machakma al-Sha'iri, literally a tribal court. And it's true that every trial begins in the name of Muhammad and so on, seemingly in the name of religion, but the rulings are completely tribal with no connection whatsoever to Islam. So what does that mean? They solve things in their own way? Yes, through compensation, you do this, you do that. You mean they kind of take shortcuts, as it were? Kind of, but these are rulings that are acceptable to everyone, and God help those who don't uphold these rulings. And perhaps you don't really understand how it works. We don't understand.